This is a companion novel to Millicent Min, Girl Genius. It's the same basic story from Stanford's point of view. Stanford doesn't like Millicent all that much, so she's more of a side character in his version.
Argo Flunk Book Review. Argo Flunk Book Review.
This review was commissioned through Patreon. Stanford's life is going great. He made the A team in basketball, and he's going to spend all summer at a fancy basketball camp. Everything is ruined when Stanford flunks big time. He gets an F in English because he never bothered to read the books. Instead of going to camp, he's going to summer school. If he doesn't pass, he'll have to repeat 6th grade. Stanford is horrified. He's not horrified about repeating 6th grade. In fact, he seems totally okay with the idea and never worries about it once. No, he's horrified because he could lose his spot on the A team. Playing basketball is obviously more important than anything else. Stanford doesn't consider that repeating a grade will help him in basketball. Being a year older than the other kids is sure to give him an edge. Or at least that's how it works for Too Tall Grizzly in the Berenstein Bears series. Stanford lies to his basketball buddies and says he's working for Dad this summer. His buddies call themselves the Roadrunners. Digger is the unofficial leader because his rich dad pays for their uniforms. Digger is also a humongous jerk. He's flat out mean in every scene. I much prefer Stretch, who never talks and watches Sesame Street all day. That guy is way more relaxed. Grandma Yin Yin lives with them. She has memory problems and frustrates Mom, who's feeling useless. Dad is rarely at home because he's trying to get a big promotion at work. Stanford decides to try his hardest in English, and haha, just kidding. He pretends he's a super spy with a cool theme song. His mission is to avoid everyone else and get through torture class without falling asleep. He doesn't always succeed in staying awake during class. It sounds like he's not even trying to take this summer school thing seriously. His parents sign him up for tutoring lessons from Millicent Min. Millicent is a certified genius, and talking to her is torture. She's a huge geek. Stanford puts his fingers in his ears and hums so he doesn't have to listen to her. Millicent forces him to read a poem several times in a row. He hates it, but when they talk about the poem in class, he gets the answers right. Maybe it is useful to do the required reading ahead of time. Yin Yin gets sent to an old folks' home. Stanford feels like he lost the only person who understands him. Yin Yin tells a lot of far-fetched stories about flying, and Stanford helps sneak in ingredients so she can make her favorite food, shoo mai. At a drugstore, Stanford sees a cute girl hanging out with Millicent. Stanford knows absolutely nothing about girls, especially cute ones. He runs away and accidentally sets off an alarm. That's a terrible first impression. Stanford daydreams about the cute girl a lot and learns her name is Emily. Mom and Dad get into fights often because, well, they're kind of terrible at communicating. Dad wants Mom to help Stanford with school, but Mom wants Dad to do it, so they both refuse to give in, and no one tries to help Stanford. You'd think they would care more about their son failing 6th grade. At the very least, they should check to make sure he did his homework. Stanford leaves his books behind at the library. Millicent shows up during basketball practice to give the books back. Stanford's embarrassed to be seen with her, so he badmouths her to the guys. Millicent gets revenge by telling Mom Stanford must read for a half hour each day before playing basketball. That's a pretty good idea. Of course, Stanford hates it. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised his parents let him play basketball at all. No basketball until you pass English might be a good motivational tool. Emily appears during a tutoring lesson. Stanford pretends he's the tutor, not the other way around. He annoys Millicent to the point where she cancels the lesson early. They all get fast food, where Stanford impresses Emily by playing with straws and sticking his tongue through a napkin. Oh, is that how you're supposed to get a girlfriend in middle school? Digger finds out that Stanford is taking summer school and blackmails him over it. He forces Stanford to lose every basketball game on purpose, and then he brags that he's a much better player than Stanford. Digger is a jerk. Stanford decides to get a haircut to impress Emily. He goes to a super fancy salon where the stylists love him and give him fancy purple highlights. He has no idea that the normal price here is over $100. They give him a break and let him pay less. Emily figures out that Millicent is a genius. She gets mad at Stanford for lying to her. Things go badly after that. He stops trying in school and he fails at basketball. He barks like a dog instead of talking to his parents. That was kind of weird. He keeps calling Emily to apologize but hangs up without saying anything. At the end of the book, Emily says she knew it was him. She has caller ID. That's hilarious. Stanford learns Yin Yin's stories are made up. Her dreams of being a pilot were abandoned when she was forced into an arranged marriage. Stanford decides he's going to run away with Yin Yin so they can both be free. He shows up at the old folks' home after midnight, but Yin Yin refuses to leave. She tells his parents and he gets in big trouble. Stanford crams for his English exam and he's upset when Dad's too busy to talk to him. Coach helps Stanford realize his family and friends are there to support him, and he can't succeed if he doesn't try. Stanford ends up passing with a C+. Good. He's surprised to learn one of his teammates also went to summer school for flunking a class. At a carnival, Stanford makes amends with Millicent and Emily. Digger gets angry and tries to destroy Stanford's reputation. The other basketball friends stick up for Stanford. Digger gets mad and kicks them all out of the basketball group. Nice temper tantrum. The first basketball game of the year involves riding on donkeys. It's strange but fun. Dad shows up briefly, which makes Stanford happy. Digger starts a fight with Stanford afterwards, hoping to get Stanford kicked off the team. But Stanford realizes he's not worth it. And then Digger begs Stanford to encourage Coach to let him on the A-team anyway. Digger is a pretty phony friend. Dad gets the big promotion, which includes a paid relocation to New York. Wow, that's a pretty big detail that wasn't mentioned earlier. Dad turns down the promotion because he wants to spend more time with his family. Stanford is so happy. There's so much he can't wait to tell Dad. The end. Post-book follow-up. I didn't like this book as much as the Millicent Min book. It took me about 60 pages to get used to Stanford's narration and the way he behaves. He doesn't sound and act like a 13-year-old. He sounds more like a 10-year-old. He's still playing pretend games, and he doesn't take anything seriously. He lies to his mom a lot for seemingly no reason. It bothered me. I didn't want to read about a self-centered jock who barks at people and falls asleep in class. I sympathize way more with Millicent because she is right. Stanford's not trying to pass his class, and that makes no sense. His life will be a disaster if he doesn't pass English. So why doesn't he do any of the homework or read any of the books? All he does is complain and play games. I don't understand this kid. Stanford has an older sister named Sarah who does well at school. She appears for about a chapter and then disappears. I don't know why she was included, other than the fact that a big chunk of this book is slice of life style. The author does a good job putting a lot of meaning into simple sentences. Something like, "I'm disappointed in you, Stanford," is one sentence with a paragraph of meaning behind it. I did not like Digger as a character. The book suggests that his father is violent with him, but there's never any follow-up to that. Considering how much Stanford cares about getting his father's approval, a comparison of the two fathers would not have been out of place. Overall, it's not a terrible book. I liked it better the second time around, but I didn't like it enough that I would recommend it to people. My library classifies it as a sports book, which is kind of accurate. It feels like a book for middle school boys who like basketball and hate reading. That's not me. I have a book review channel, so obviously I'm not the target audience of boys who don't like reading. I give Stanford Wong Flunks Big Time a 3 out of 10.